Materialization of Matter is the Tragedy of Life Philosophy, Part 11 on the theme of the Oriental philosophers' analysis of the contemporary human confusion. In Chinese culture, there are two vivid descriptions of death which are full of life philosophy. The first sentence is called, "Death is like a lamp going out," which expresses the essence of life nihility, and the other sentence is called Materialization, which calls human death materialization, that is, another extremely pessimistic description of death. So what do I mean today by the materialization of contemporary human beings? It refers to the alienation of human beings from what is essentially called the existence of mind to the existence of material greed, and the alienation of human beings from the existence of mind to the existence of material logic. Human beings are alienated from animals pursuing meaning to animals pursuing material greed and instinctive pleasure. This is the basic meaning of what I mean by the materialization of human life in the contemporary era. Human beings have betrayed the mind and become the existence of material logic and material greed, which is the tragedy of contemporary human materialized philosophy of life. Each of us has to face the fate of dying, and the whole human race will eventually become nihility, which is also a basic fate. It is precisely because each individual and the whole human race are faced with this fate of extinction into the nothingness that the ultimate spiritual comfort becomes the fundamental spiritual need of human beings. In a sense, the so-called ultimate comfort is actually human belief, the highest artistic conception of the meaning of life, and the absolute truth about the meaning of life. In the world, there are two causes, two basic ideological causes. One is to explore the external world, to explore the vast object universe, and the other is to explore, to understand, to explore the artistic conception of our soul. Since modern times, human beings have expanded the scope of exploration of the world and strengthened the wisdom energy of human exploration of the universe by means of the sublimation process from natural rationality to scientific rationality. Through such exploration, also enlarges the space and time of human existence in the external object world and strengthens the ability of human exploration of the object world. But here it is necessary to recognize that scientific reason itself is a finite search in the course of a finite universe. Modern scientific rationality is based on the premise that the universe is finite, and the process of exploring the external universe itself is a finite process in the finite universe, so the dual finitude determines the limitations of scientific rationality. That is, it can constantly expand the space of people's survival and exploration in an external object world, but this expansion can never reach the eternal and infinite level. The scientific reason is always a prisoner in the finite existence. He cannot obtain eternal and infinite freedom. What does this mean? It shows that scientific reason cannot meet the needs of human beings for ultimate comfort. Because scientific reason is limited, but the ultimate comfort, it is an absolute truth, is an absolute belief. An absolute truth and absolute belief must have beyond the eternal and infinite spiritual ability, and this spiritual ability is scientific reason itself does not have. To reiterate, No matter how scientific reason develops, it is always a prisoner in the framework of finitude, or in the iron prison of finitude. It cannot reach eternity and infinity, so it cannot provide ultimate comfort to human beings. Another spiritual cause of human beings is to explore their own soul, by virtue of the apocalypse of life philosophy, by virtue of the meditation on the emergence from the soul from the apocalypse, to explore the artistic conception of the soul, as a kind of artistic existence. It itself has the ability to transcend eternity and infinity. Only the soul can take eternity and infinity as our thinking object. To understand the object, to understand the object. Scientific reason believes that understanding this so-called eternity and infinity, which cannot be verified, is meaningless and valueless, while scientific reason believes that what is meaningless and valuable, that is, the understanding of eternity and infinity, is precisely the core value concerned by the mind. Therefore, human beings can only find the ultimate comfort and absolute truth from the exploration of the soul. Human beings can only find the ultimate meaning of life and the highest belief from the exploration of the soul. In a sense, we can say that the soul is the source of the meaning of life. The soul is the only way to the ultimate comfort. The soul is belief, and the soul belongs to the absolute truth of the meaning of life. Betraying the loyalty to the soul and giving up the exploration of the artistic conception of the soul leads to the materialization of contemporary human beings. This is what I see as the tragedy of the contemporary philosophy of life. From another point of view, the crisis of life philosophy is the root of all crises in human society. The crisis of life philosophy means that the fate of the whole human being is in a great crisis, and at present, the concentrated expression of the crisis of human materialization lies in that the material logic worshipped by scientific reason replaces the human mind and becomes the establisher of life meaning. This is what I call the most concentrated manifestation of the contemporary crisis of human materialization. The crisis of contemporary human materialization can be divided into two categories. I divide it into two categories. One is called the low-level form of materialization crisis. The other is called the high-level form of human materialization crisis. First of all, let's explore the lower form of the crisis of human materialization. The so-called low-level form of human material crisis refers to the alienation of human beings from animals pursuing meaning, from the existence embodying the essence of the soul, to the moving soul pursuing material greed and instinctive pleasure, which rots in the pursuit of material greed and instinct, and all living beings, countless physical existence, all their lives. Struggling for the welfare of the inhabitants of the world, suffering, and anxiety, they are a group of physical existence abandoned by morality and conscience. Their lives boil down to a sordid nothingness that rots in sexual greed. This is what I call the lower form of materialization of contemporary human beings. This low-level form of materialization is also the root of the doomsday crisis of contemporary mankind. We have discussed that there are two imminent doomsday crises of contemporary mankind. One is the crisis of the Earth's ecological balance caused by the destructive development and utilization of the natural environment, and the crisis of the Earth's natural ecological environment collapsing. Then, behind this crisis, of course, is the material greed of human beings. In order to satisfy their own physical greed, human beings carry out destructive development and utilization of natural resources. The other crisis comes from the global expansion of the totalitarianism of the Chinese Communist Party tyranny. We have said that the highest form of physical greed is the attempt to seize ownership of the whole human destiny, and the Chinese Communist tyranny is realizing this ultimate greed through their global expansion of totalitarianism. In such a process, the Chinese Communist Party's tyranny also pushed the entire human race to the brink of a nuclear war. Never before have human beings faced such a dangerous situation as today, in which the Earth may turn into a red rock in the burning of nuclear flames, that is to say, the lower form of human materialization is pushing contemporary human beings, to a real doomsday crisis. So what is the advanced form of contemporary human materialization? Specifically speaking, they betray their loyalty to the mind, refuse to admit that the mind is the essence of life, and use the physical laws worshipped by scientific reason as the essence of human beings and life, and think that the mind is only a special manifestation of physical logic, a parasite, and a derivative of physical logic. Fundamentally denying the independent destiny of the mind, denying that the essence of human beings lies in the mind, and taking scientific reason and the physical logic worshipped by scientific reason as the determiner of the meaning of human life, this is the so-called advanced form of human materiality, among which the most representative figure is the crown of contemporary scientific reason. And the kind of materialization that Hawking represents. To some extent, the crisis of human beings caused by this advanced form of materialization is more profound than that of the lower form of human materialization. Because it is a fundamental alienation of human nature and personality. Because such a high-level form contains stronger intellectual energy and more powerful rational energy than the low-level form. It is making people romanticized or making people computerized, and human beings will gradually tend to the existence of a physical logic, a natural rational existence from the existence of mind. Please think about it. If this state is finally realized, even young men and women whose lives are like flowers, when they pursue their first love, what they see from each other's eyes is not brilliant poetry, but cold rationality. What they see in each other's eyes is not the epic passion of sacrifice for love, but the shadow of rational trade-offs. How terrible people can become. Thousands of years ago, Plato stood on the top of the philosophy of life and declared to the boundless universe, and he was extremely proud to declare that man was an animal pursuing meaning, and it was precise because of such a declaration that human beings, who were insignificant in the form of matter, could claim that they were the main body in the middle of the boundless universe. But today, the development of scientific rationality may lead to a fundamental betrayal of the human mind, and human beings will change from animals pursuing meaning to animals expressing only physical logic and natural rationality. In my opinion, this is an extremely terrible scene, a betrayal of human destiny. Is it true that human beings want to return to the eternal darkness of physical nature?